But God redeemed this day when I discovered my son John.
Dog the Bounty Hunter, aka Duane Chapman, recently made the most shocking discovery of his life. There's also a crazy connection to this discovery and Duane's late wife, Beth. Listen closely because you won't believe the real truth about Duane's secret son. On June 26, 2019, Duane experienced the worst loss of his life. His beloved wife, Beth, passed away after a terrible battle with throat cancer. Duane's reality show began airing almost 20 years ago. Beth was extremely popular on the show. Duane posted a heartbreaking message on Instagram recently. He said that every June 26th is such a terrible reminder. Shockingly, Duane's message also contained good news. Duane wrote, "God redeemed this day when I discovered my son John was born on this day." That is crazy for a couple of reasons. For Duane, the sad anniversary of Beth's passing now has a new meaning, but it also means that Duane has a secret adult son that he never knew about until now. So how could that have happened? Duane also uploaded a photo of his secret son John to accompany his post. John is standing with his wife Jody in the photo, and they look really happy. The craziest thing is how much John looks like his dad. They've got the same nose and jawline, and John is wearing the same kind of sunglasses that Duane is usually photographed wearing. Duane signed off his post by telling John and his wife that he loves them. So why didn't Duane find out about John until recently? While we're all happy for Duane, this creates many more questions for us. But there's another side to the story of John and how Duane found out about him. If you want to find that out, it might cost you. Duane is now saying that the real truth about finding his secret son will be revealed in a new memoir. Duane's book, 9 Lives and Counting, is coming out sometime in 2024, so we all have to wait a while, I guess. In the meantime, Duane has many other personal stories of heartbreak and loss, and I'm not even sure just how many kids that Duane has. He's been married 5 times and admitted having many intimate relationships out of wedlock. Some sources claim that Duane has 14 kids, while other media outlets, including People, state that Duane has had 12 kids, which includes John. Tragically, 2 of Duane's kids have passed away. Many years ago, Duane and his second wife, Ann Tegnell, had a baby son named Zebediah, who sadly passed away. Before he met Beth, Duane was married to his third wife, Lissa Ray Britton. They had 3 kids together, including a daughter named Barbara Katie. Barbara was born in 1982 and lived to be just 23 years old. The tragedy of Barbara's passing unfolded in May 2006. She was living in Fairbanks, Alaska, and unfortunately, Barbara had gotten involved with a bad crowd. Barbara's boyfriend was Scott Standifer II. Together, they stole an SUV and they took off on a joyride. On a Friday night in May 2006, Scott and Barbara attempted to rent a room at a resort north of Fairbanks, but they were also using a stolen credit card. Before authorities could catch them at the scene, Scott and Barbara took off again in the SUV. He was driving and she was the passenger. At some point later that night, tragedy struck, and the SUV that Scott was driving just went off the road. Alaska State troopers with inside knowledge of the incident described the terrible scene. The SUV left the roadway, hit an embankment, and launched. It was suspected that Scott and Barbara passed away on impact, but there was a mysterious element to this tragedy. State Trooper Jeremy Stone remarked, "There is no clue as to why they left the roadway. There are absolutely no skid marks on the road." Although the state trooper suspected that substance use played a role in the crash, and Barbara's mom Lissa seemed to agree with the authorities about that. Lissa told reporters that Barbara had gotten herself into a terrible mess, but Barbara was trying as hard as she could to put her life back together. Sadly, Barbara left a 4-year-old son named Travis at the time of her passing. And there's another side of this tragic story that you will not believe: the shocking connection between Barbara's passing and Duane's marriage to Beth. Barbara's passing happened the day before Duane and Beth got married in Hawaii. Although sources with inside knowledge claim that Barbara was not expected to attend the wedding, so it would seem that Duane and Barbara were not close near the end of her young life. Still, Duane and Beth gathered with 10 of his children in Hawaii after receiving the untimely news that Barbara had passed. Duane and Beth discussed whether or not to postpone their wedding, and together with their family, they made a decision. Shockingly, Duane and Beth went ahead with their wedding ceremony, but they also honored and celebrated Barbara's life on that day. Duane and Beth enjoyed 13 years of marriage. While it wasn't always wedded bliss, as you got to see when you watched their reality show, it was clear that Duane and Beth's love was true. And after Beth's terrible passing, Duane made a shocking announcement. He vowed never to remarry. Duane claimed that he had even made a promise to Beth. In an interview, Duane explained, "Well, I'm a man and I will have a girlfriend probably, but I will never get remarried. I promised Beth I would never get remarried." And in other heartbreaking interviews, Duane broke down in tears as he described how his 2 kids with Beth could not handle her passing. Duane claimed that he had to do everything around the house, and one day at his home back in Denver, Colorado, Duane called a guy he knew to come over and do some landscaping. That call led to Duane meeting his 5th wife, Francie Fain. So I guess Duane spoke too soon when he claimed he would never remarry after Beth. Francie's husband was the landscaper, but when Duane called to ask him to come over, Francie had to tell Duane the unfortunate news. Her husband had also passed away from cancer just a few months before Beth. This is another side to the story, and listen, because this gets crazy. Dwayne confessed that he and Francie began phoning each other all the time. They felt they could console each other and cry together over their shared grief. Dwayne also revealed that he could talk openly about Beth to Francie because Francie knew exactly what they'd been through. Dwayne and Francie are both really religious. Dwayne also has a daughter named Lissa, and Lissa revealed that Dwayne and Francie went to church 3 times a week. Lissa also dropped a bombshell. In 2020, she told a media outlet that Dwayne was in love with Francie, and he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. That sounds great, but it's still weird that Dwayne made a promise to his late wife, and he broke that promise only 1 year later. Dwayne finally set the record straight on a talk show in 2020. He appeared on an episode of the Dr. Oz show. Dwayne confirmed everything his daughter Lissa had already dished. Dwayne told Dr. Oz, "Well, I fell in love." He also offered an explanation that kind of makes sense. Considering the unfortunate circumstances, Dwayne told Dr. Oz that Francie is a Christian like he is, and this is how Dwayne explained why he was breaking his promise to Beth and marrying Francie. Dwayne said, "You've got to marry Christians or you don't get no smooches." Okay, I guess I get what he's trying to say. Dwayne also quoted the book of Genesis from the Bible when he told Dr. Oz, "God does not expect or want a man to be alone." Dwayne still believes that Beth is guiding him from above. Whether it's his 5th wife Francie or his secret son John, Dwayne feels Beth's presence and is grateful for all the new blessings in his life. How do you feel about Dwayne revealing his secret son, and that the real truth about it hasn't come out yet? Will you read Dwayne's book when it comes out in 2024? And how do you feel about Dwayne getting remarried when he said he wasn't going to? Let me know in the comments below.